This is like my first time doing this dual screen thing, so stick with me here, ladies. Alrighty, so a few things to remember as we get started. Just make sure your mics are turned off unless I call on you. That way it just kind of keeps the focus in and we don't get distracted, as I'm easily distracted. Make sure your cameras are on if they're not on already. Totally okay if you're moving about, but I would really encourage you to get grounded, get into where you are, and turn your camera on, because that gives you that extra layer of accountability as we get started. Last thing, questions over in the chat box. I'll be calling on everybody, but be sure to use that chat box, get to know each other, because if you don't take anything else away from this presentation, take away a networking connection that you can take beyond this hour together, okay? Amazing. All right, so drop in the chat if you haven't already, what are your goals out of this hour together? And bonus points, like I said, networking, put your Instagram profile link, put the actual link so you can click and all of you can follow each other and gain some followers after this presentation or during it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen, but if I had to guess, you're probably here and you probably showed up for yourself today because it's the new year, right? We're setting new goals and you're trying to figure out how you're actually going to accomplish them, right? It's one thing to set the goals, but it's the other thing to actually see them come to life. They're big and amazing goals and they deserve it. So you're showing up for yourself today to accomplish them. You've heard so many conflicting tips and tricks that you just don't know which one to use, which one is right for you. So hopefully I'll give you our simple 4-step formula today that'll help you understand how you can make it work for you. You showed up because you aren't sure how to build a strong plan that you can follow through with. Got you. You're ready to see some massive progress with your goals in 2022. I love that for you. And you're just like, girl, I just need some of your juju. Give me some help and I can help you with that today for sure as well. So let's go ahead and let's do this, shall we? All right, so for those of you who don't know me, I am Priscilla. There's a y'all in there because I am a Texas girl at heart. You'll hear y'all thrown in here every once in a while. And if you stick around me long enough, you'll probably start saying it too. I'm the co-founder of the Forward Female, and I'm our female-driven business development coach here. I've supported over 150 entrepreneurs to start and grow their businesses since we started our business in 2019. I've worked for some incredible brands like Bumble and Warner Brothers and Red Bull and executed millions of dollars worth of partnerships working with those companies. I left my full-time corporate job just 3 years ago, actually a little bit less than that, to start the Forward Female with Lauren and our other partner, NJ. And now it's a successful 6-figure business. So that was my vision for myself, and that was our vision for our company. And we were able to see that come to life in such a short amount of time. I want to help you do the same. Planning and strategy is kind of my happy place. Lauren and I are kind of the yin yang here. Lauren dreams big, and I'm like planning and strategy to the extreme. So that's really where my happy place is. So that's what I want to teach you today. And of course, surrounded by my dog. So if you hear in the background a chewing of a bone or a whine, that's my 2 fur babies right at my feet here. And my passion is really just helping women realize their full potential, letting you know that it is possible to achieve everything that you want to achieve. It's kind of crazy. You can do anything that you want. By working with all of these women over the past several years and accomplishing things in my own personal life before that, I have really seen the power of visualizing what it is that you want, getting really, really clear on it, and actually achieving it, seeing it come to life. It's kind of crazy. So that's just a little about me so we can get to know each other. I wanted to let you know about who Forward Female is, who's putting on this event. There's a lot of people that know who Forward Female is already, but for those of you who don't, we're a coaching and creative agency, and we have an incredible accountability club. built into that. So a lot of our accountability club members are here today that show up for themselves every single week and are so dedicated to seeing their dreams come to life. Our community is around the globe. And I think some of our members from France are on this call, so it's kind of crazy. We've hosted tons of workshops just like this. So we really got it down to a science, and we help entrepreneurs accomplish a lot more of their goals. So if you're thinking about starting a business, if you already have a business and you're looking to expand it, or if you're not wanting to start a business at all, but just looking to like exponentially grow your own personal visualizations, you'll still get a lot out of this time together. So don't worry. Alrighty, so I want you to throw over in the chat kind of where you're at, so I can get like a sense of where you're at. And then maybe Gabby, you can like tell me where everybody's at, because I can't really see the chat right now. So 1, you've already set your 2020 goals. You know exactly what you want to accomplish. You just don't know how. 2, you don't even know where to start when to like set your goals. You're like, I hear this all the time. Is that like too big of a goal, Priscilla? Or is that not big enough of a goal? It's completely up to you, but maybe that's where you're at. Or 3, you feel like you're doing everything right. You're like, I set the goal, I got the plan, and just it's not happening for me. And maybe that's a 3. So go ahead and put your 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. And I'd love to know where you're at. Gabby, if you're able to, I don't even see you, but can you unmute and kind of let me know what's going on in the chat and where everybody's at?
I'm seeing some 2s, I'm seeing some 1s.
Okay.
Some more 2s, a 3, mostly 1s and 2s though.
Very interesting. Okay. It's interesting, but it's almost not. I want to let you know, if you're a 2, this is what I hear all of the time. Like every single time when I'm working with a client, like they almost feel like ashamed. And this might be like what you're feeling of like, oh, maybe I'm not like setting my financial goal big enough, or maybe it's too big and I'm never going to achieve that. So I'm going to play small and I'm going to say it's just this amount. Or oh, I want to start a business, but I'm actually scared to even say I want to start it and set that as my goal because it seems so overwhelming and daunting. I hear that all the time. So that's you. I totally get it. Awesome. Gab, what else is happening in the chat?
So someone said, I have a rough draft outline of goals, but I need to set them to timed goal dates, which they're figuring out.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Sounds good. So I love this entire journey for you. So listen, what I want to let you know is that with me, kid, nothing's impossible. I really, really believe that, as long as you do too. I can believe it all day long. I can believe that you deserve everything that you ever wanted. I can believe that anything is possible for you, but really where it really, really starts is within you. It's your goals, it's your dreams, it's your life. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna get started kind of slow here. This is Lauren's phrase, so I won't take it from her. It's the power in the pause, but I think it is so powerful. We get in this hustle mentality of that we have to be doing in order to see our goals come to life. And what I've learned is that that necessarily isn't always the case. Sometimes it takes time to pause and reflect and really sit in exactly where you want to be. So I want you to take this time, if you haven't already, get a pen and a notebook out, because this is really like an interactive exercise. I don't want to just be preaching to you the whole time. I really want you to be taking action during this hour together. So get that pen and paper out. And for those of you who already have your pen and paper out, I want you to ground yourself really quickly. Set your feet on the ground, wiggle your toes, get comfy in your chair of where you're at right now. And if you want to close your eyes, if that helps you, then you can close your eyes. If not, I just want to take you through some of these prompts that you can either journal, or if it helps you to just reflect and then journal. I want to go through this first. So I want you to set your intention just for today, right? I want you to set your intention for this hour together. I want you to be very clear about what that intention is. Is your intention to show up today, to just listen to me spew all of these words at you and just reflect but not act? Is your intention to take everything that you're learning today, everyone that you're meeting today, and take action? Is it your intention to show up, to click on those Instagram links and actually follow the person and reach out and make a connection? Is it your intention to set your goal, build a plan, and execute that plan, right? Actually follow through. Write it down, say it out loud. You're muted, so we can't hear you, but if it helps you to say it out loud, that's a really powerful place to be. Speak it into existence. I will do this. I am this. Because you are. Nobody's taking that away from you today. You are in charge of setting your intention. You are in charge of deciding what you're going to get out of this. Period. I get asked all the time, and whenever I'm working one-on-one with somebody or they're thinking about working one-on-one with me, and they say, well, what can you guarantee, Priscilla? I can guarantee you I'm going to show up. I can guarantee you I'm going to bring the energy and I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to lead you to the water, but you have to decide if you're going to drink it. You have to decide if you're going to act. And I know because you've showed up here today, I might be preaching to the choir, but I just want you to set that intention. I want you to take a moment and identify who your highest self is. Ooh, scary. I know. Who is your highest self? What is she like? What kind of life does she live? Does she have a 9-to-5 and she can leave and go be with her family at night every single night? Does she live in the middle of the woods in a cabin and in the middle of somewhere isolated? She in that Malibu beach house, Lo. She's in that Malibu beach house, just hanging out, overlooking all of her land and all the people that she's helped. She wearing a blazer, right? Or is she wearing like the comfiest, like cashmere? What kind of perfume does she wear? What kind of people does she have around her? Who are the people that are going to be next to her when she's at her height? And for the good reasons. Who is she? Embody her. Because she is you. You are her. It's one and the same. And I'm like, all right. So take a minute to write it down, speak it out loud, speak it into existence. Whenever you're doing this, you probably have some limiting beliefs that are coming up, that are showing up for you. They're showing up and being like, yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, okay. You think you can go and do that now? Why do you even need that much money? Who says that you're the right person to do it? Other people have done it, but you, right? All those limiting beliefs that are coming up for ourselves. You're too young, you're too old. Let's identify those. A statistics that I heard one time that was really impressive to me, well, two things. I'll start with one. One was that the most successful people in the world are the people that are able to flex the muscle and really build the muscle of identifying their limiting beliefs whenever they come up They're able to identify them, recognize them, and then reverse them instantaneously. That is a muscle that you got to flex, right? I had my first workout of the year 2 days ago. You know, the second day is like the worst day. Oh my God, this morning I woke up. I was like, did I do aerobics in my sleep? Right? Flexing that muscle of identifying your limiting beliefs, identifying them and then pushing them aside to make room for your highest self.
We can hear you talking.
Muscle that you have to build. Oh, I didn't mean to ask you to unmute, but whoever was muted. So I want you to identify them, and I want you to sit in them for a second, and I want you to let them go. I want you to just let them go. If you feel like you can only let them go for this hour together, and then we got to let them go again, that's okay. Let's just decide to let them go. As long as we can let them go for. As long as you're comfortable with letting them go, then we'll flex the muscle again and we'll let them go again. Because this isn't a one-time deal. This isn't a you showed up today, we identified the limiting belief, and we let it go, and whew, oh my God, wouldn't that be so nice? No, we let it go. Whenever I was leaving my corporate job 3 years ago, I had this limiting belief that, oh my gosh, what if I leave here and this is the height of my height? What if I regret it? I had all these what ifs getting slapped in my face. And somebody sat me down and they said, Priscilla, nobody could ever take that away from you. That is you. You are her. You're evolving and you're shedding to become your highest self. And that stuck with me. Alrighty, so if you're still writing, if you're still visualizing your highest self and you're still identifying your limiting beliefs, stay there. I don't want to disrupt, but I am going to move forward into the 4-step formula. I've broken it into 4 steps to goal setting and planning that I use with all of my clients. So if you know me, I promise you've probably heard this before, but I guarantee you it's a good reminder. So let's dive into step 1. So whenever we think of step 1 in your goal setting and planning, the most important thing is to separate yourself from your goals. So before we even put goals on the vision board, we have to understand why things are important to us. We have to understand why we want to do the things that we're doing. Whenever I was in my corporate job, and which was my dream job, by the way, like my entire life, it was my dream job to be exactly where I was. But what I was identifying was that I wasn't actually happy, which was devastating for me, completely devastating. I'd worked my entire life to get to this point, and then I wasn't happy. And I'm just like a naturally happy person. It's just like who I am. And I wasn't that person. I was slowly dissolving out of being that person that I knew that I was. So power in the pause, I had to ask myself, what is it that is really important to me, separate from my professional goals, my relationship goals, all of those other goals? Why are these things? What's really important to me and why? A few things for me was creativity, expression, freedom, quality time with my friends and family, which was hard because I was now in LA and all of my friends and family were in Texas because I moved out here not knowing a soul in LA. What I realized, and travel was really, really important to me, those new experiences and wanting to start a family one day. And I looked at the people around me of the positions that I wanted to be in. And I didn't see that. I just did not see that life for me. And I knew, I needed to make a drastic change. I needed to make a drastic change in my life. Started asking myself what really made me excited. And going into the business plan, I realized there was a missing gap in the world. And that's where I really identified my core values and why they were really important to me. What's the core value and why is it so important to you? Another way to imagine this is like, what makes you feel like you're in the zone? You're like in the zone. You're just like, you feel on top of the world and killing it. It's going to be a bunch of different things. But identifying this for you as like a human being, you as you first, really, really important. Okay, so this is all inner work. The good news is there's only 3 more steps. After you ask yourself what's really important to you, which can actually be harder than we might think at the end of the day. Alrighty, so as you're writing those down, I hope I'm not going too fast for you. And realize that just this time that you spend and how I'm going through these slides isn't the amount of time it should take you to come up with these things for yourself. It takes time. And one thing you might breeze through and one thing you might not. So it's imperative that you come back to these and really spend time on them, because this is your life. End of the day. Alrighty. Now let's get into the fun stuff. Not the other stuff's not fun, but this is like the fun stuff. Okay. This is actual goal setting. So I always give this example of setting your goal and your big dreams and your highest self is kind of like planning your dream vacation, like ultimate dream vacation you've always wanted to go on. I have always wanted to go to Fiji, right? And those, I always call them cabanas, but when I was Googling it last night, apparently they're called bungalows. So I'm going to change my skill a little bit. Those bungalows that are in the crystal blue water of Fiji. So I didn't have enough time to Photoshop myself into that pool right there, but right there is where I'd want to be. Okay. I would want a really solid pina colada, like a little rum chopper on it, maybe. Like I want the breeze to be blowing at the perfect like speed where my hair's not everywhere, but it's like just enough. I can taste the salt on my lips. And like, there is also these 2 really, really hot guys. I love Colton, for those of you, but like these 2 guys are bringing me my pina colada. Colton's in the pool with me, right? It seems silly, right? But I am visualizing it down to every detail. I know exactly what that's going to feel like once I get there. Because, by the way, I'm going there at some point. Going to Mexico, like, shortly to, like, feel it out. But, like, Fiji is next on my list. Going to Fiji, I'm going to be in that bungalow, and I'm going to, like, taste the salt on my lips as I'm washing down my pina colada. Right? Visualize your goals in this much detail. Right? I want to be successful. Okay. What does that mean for you? Why is that important? You need to clearly identify your goals and make sure you are obsessed with them. You know, I'm the weirdo that watches like all of the like the inspirational videos in the morning. Like I'm listening to the podcast of the most successful people in the world. Like that is my free time. That's my like fun time. It's my entertainment. The thing that I see all of the time is the one thing that the most successful people have in common, and in the people that I coach, is that they are obsessed with their goals. And their goals are so clear on exactly what they want to accomplish. Whenever I said like I want to be successful, that's not necessarily what I mean, because your goals have to be measurable. What are your measurable goals? Because you're responsible for not allowing your limiting beliefs to limit you. So earlier, whenever a lot of you were putting those twos, I don't even know what goals to set. This slide is for you. What are they? You have to start somewhere. This doesn't mean that you cannot like waver from this goal. But if you don't have something measurable to start with, you have no idea what you're trying to build to. So if I want to go to Fiji, I've identified that destination. It's easier for me to plan my trip to Fiji, to book the plane, train, automobile to get there, to know what my layovers are going to be on the way. Now, could that change? Absolutely, right? If you've probably flown in the last like couple months, you know that that can change, right? The delay here, this doesn't go right here, you know. But you know that you're going to get to Fiji. Versus, I'm in LA, if you're near LA, and I say, I'm just going to start. I'm just going to go. And then you just start going and you just start walking into the abyss. All of a sudden, I'm maybe a month in, I'm dehydrated, I'm exhausted, I'm wandering around Palm Springs, trying to hitchhike to find wherever they want to take me, right? Because I didn't spend the time to actually say, no, I actually want to go to Fiji, and this is where I want to go, and this is what I need to do in order to get there. So I give up because I'm just dehydrated and exhausted, and I give up. I hope this is making sense for a lot of you. Making sure they're measurable, making sure your goals are clear. You want to make $100,000 this year? Great. It's a great place to start. If that's where you know it's beyond your limiting beliefs, maybe because you're only making nothing now and you want to make $100,000 this year, great. That's a great place to start, to understand what it's going to take to build to that and understand if you can grow that goal and what's the actual timeline to do it. I hope that this is hitting with several of you. I would love to know, is it Aline? Oh, you just disappeared. Aline, you're...
I'm here.
Amazing. Your name
Hi.
is like hidden, so I couldn't see it fully. Hi. How is this hitting with you? How are you doing?
I like it so much so far because I think that I'm not pretty good at goal setting so far. So this is why I decided to attend this webinar. And what you're actually sharing makes a lot of sense.
Good.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And I'm taking my notes and everything.
Oh, good, good.
It's
Love it.
Super good. Yeah.
Awesome. Bridget. Hi.
Hi. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for this. I agree with what the person before me just said. My issue is like really visualizing my goals because I have these general broad things and some goals that I think might be for me, but might not be. So I'm happy to like go through and really reflect on the step one. I feel like that's what I need.
Yeah.
But it's helpful to have those questions.
100%. A lot of, the things that I run into is that we feel like we have to set these goals for ourselves, for our businesses, because other people around us are doing it, because everybody on TikTok is doing it, or that other business beside us is doing it. And so we should do that too. And that should be our goal. But that isn't what's going to keep you motivated. That's not what's going to keep you for the long game. which is why I know you want it. You want it for the long-term results. You don't want it for the short-term results. So making sure that you are clear on why your goals are your goals, step one. Because if there's somebody else's goals for a different reason, they're never going to be sustainable. They're just not. Alrighty, step 3. I love step 3. Like I said at the beginning, strategy and planning are like kind of my jam. Step 1 and 2 are so important because it helps get us set up for step 3. Step 3 is building that itinerary. We want to go to Fiji. Now we need to figure out how the heck we're going to get to Fiji, right? We've set that non-limiting goal of wanting to go to Fiji. How are we going to get there? This is where I see a lot of people get stuck in the planning phase because you have all of these ideas floating of, you know, everything that you need to do to actually make it happen. And you're like overwhelmed immediately. You're overwhelmed constantly. Your to-do list is endless. There's so much to do. Do, right? That you're just trying to grab them as they come past your brain. You're grabbing them, you're doing them, you're grabbing them, you're doing them with no actual strategy in place because you haven't taken the time because you feel that hustle mentality. You feel like, I just got to do something to feel like I'm moving forward in some way. Make me feel good. That's a short-term solution. That's never sustainable. The strategy element is what's so important because you're able to identify what's going to make you successful. The strategy is the how of how you're going to make it happen. It's a well thought out plan driven by goals, research, and analytics at the end of the day. The strategy is the habits that you're putting in your daily routine that you know will help you reach that goal, right? If you want to lose 10 pounds, you better get a good strategy in place. You got to eat better, got to maybe go on a walk every now and then. What are the habits that you need to build into your daily routine that are going to help you reach those goals? My 2 biggest tips on this, because there's a million ways to do it, is that 1, it's not listed here, but you have to figure out what works for you. My strategy execution plan isn't going to be the same strategy execution plan that yours is, nor should it be. My biggest tip that I see works for almost every single person that I work with is a good old brain dump, right? Taking all of those ideas that are in the universe in your head that only you know about need to get done and plotting and just listing them out and brain dumping them all out somewhere. So if you have your pen and paper right now, if you're taking notes on your computer, if you want to do it post this event, brain dump out all of those things, even if they don't really make sense. Everything that you know needs to get done. I need to build my website. I need to reach out to the CPA. I need to have the logo. I need to get this bank account set up. I need to. List them all out. You know, you are so smart. You're smarter than you even realize. You are more capable than you even realize. To know what order all of those things need to go in. You are. And guess what? There's this thing called Google that if you're not sure, it'll tell you. It's on your fingertips, literally. List out all the things that you think need to happen, brain up them out, reorganize them in a way that it feels like is the logical way for you to get them done. One of my favorite tools is Trello. We use it internally with our team at Forward Female. I use it with every single one of my clients that I work with. It's a digital tool where you can link up a lot of different other applications, and you can move, drag, drop things around. It's kind of like a digital sticky note. It's your place where you can brain dump everything out and move it around in the order that actually makes sense to you. So going back to my trip analogy, is your strategy is like your itinerary, building out everything that you know needs to happen in order for you to get there. Could you book the hotel before you book the flight? Could you book the flight before the hotel? Yeah. Is it going to be the end of the world? No. Don't get caught up in the little bitty things that need to happen. Put them in a logical order, and then you start to execute. So step 3 is really important because it gets everything out of your head and actually into a place that you can follow. Whether that's a list on your desk, whether that's a digital list, whatever that is for you. Understanding some of those things are probably going to need to be habits that are built into your everyday routine. Maybe you need to post on Instagram more, right? Putting it into your routine as a habit, whatever it is. Does everybody feel good and clear on the itinerary part, on the strategy part? See, a lot of people get caught up on the strategy element of it. Gab, how is everybody looking in the chat?
Looking good in the chat. No new questions thus far.
Love it. All
Kelly
right.
says, yes, my morning brain dumps have really helped me.
Yeah. Making your brain dump a habit. Ooh, that's like a twofer. I love it. It's not a one and done brain dump. It's a constant brain dump and reorganization. I love that, Kelly. Awesome. Perfect. All right. I want to move on to step 4, but I want to get you in the mindset of step 4. The difference between a goal and a dream is a date and the calendar. The difference of you actually achieving the things that you want to achieve is plotting them out and execution. So if you have set all of your goals and you know everything that you need to do, you're almost all the way there. But the thing that you might be missing is your actual execution. So step 4 is actually booking the trip. It's the actual execution of it all. I have Google over here because that's my pro tip. But I want to let you know, you cannot skip this part. You will not see your dreams come true. You will not see your goals come through if you skip this part. This is where you see the results that you actually want. You just spent all of the time working and building. But if you don't actually execute, it's a waste of time. It just is a waste of your time, your energy, and your effort. You get to choose whatever your execution channel is going to be. Whatever is going to help you stay accountable to actually executing your plan. We just published a blog about internal and external accountability. These are the 2 things that are going to help you actually execute and that are most important to your success. You know, I shared that statistic about you're 95% more likely to accomplish a goal with accountability. That's with external accountability. But I think a lot of things people don't talk about enough is that you can have an accountability partner all day long, but if you don't have that internal accountability factor within yourself, it's going to be really hard to achieve your goals. You have to want it more than anybody else on the face of the planet. That doesn't mean that you're not going to fall off sometimes and that things are going to get hard and that you miss some due dates for yourself. But the key is being able to pick yourself back up fast and start again. So choose your execution channel here, commit to internal accountability for yourself, figure out how you can hold yourself internally accountable. For me, that's my entire life is in my Google Calendar. Every single little thing that I have to do is in my Google Calendar. I know that if I move something more than twice, I either have to do it right then or I have to delete it because it means it really wasn't that important to me in the first place. So my Google Calendar and Trello are the things that really, really hold me accountable to myself. Nobody else, but like me sitting here like 95% of the time by myself, working away. I have to know I got to hold myself accountable if I want any of my dreams to happen. But I also know that I can't only do it alone always. So having that commitment to an external accountability source is crucial. The thing that really stuck out in my mind is that when I saw that people can accomplish 95% more of their goals if they have external accountability, it was mind-blowing. 95. That's almost 100%. Wow. All of this doesn't mean that you can't pivot too along the way. Maybe you get halfway to Fiji and you're like, oh my God, I never knew the Maldives existed. What? I'm going to the Maldives, right? You can pivot, but make sure you're pivoting with purpose. Going back to step one and understanding why you're pivoting. If the strategy needs to change, if the execution plan needs to change and evolve and shed because you're evolving as the plan is in place, that's okay. But make sure that you're doing it with purpose. Okay. All right, we had this in our last presentation and I just couldn't take it out. It was just too much fun. So I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to take a sip of water. But please put in the chat, what's the one thing that has really, really helped you today? Whatever that is, go put in the chat, because what I hope that you'll see is that maybe you're not alone in where you're at right now. Other people might be thinking about the same things that you are. Connect with that person, and maybe that's your external accountability source. Flo, any thoughts while everybody's chatting away?
Yes, I love this. I think that you've hit on so many great points, and each step is so crucial in its own way. I see a lot of questions popping up too, which I'll go through for you if you want to answer some real quick.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. So, how are people creating structure for the external accountability?
So the structure for external accountability can be different for everybody. You know, the reason why we created Forward Female was because of this really issue. It's really hard to find people that can actually hold you accountable for the things that you want to achieve, because we all got our own lives at the end of the day too, right? So external accountability can be in so many different ways. It can be your neighbor. It can be, I really urge you for it not to be like a best friend, and it not to be like a family member, because those people aren't truly going to hold you accountable to your highest self, because they love you so much, right? Your boyfriend, your husband, like your mom, your dad, your bestie, right? They love you so much. They just want to see you happy in the moment too, which isn't always going to hold you accountable to your highest self. I think there's a lot of great resources, like having a coach, right? A personal trainer, somebody that is for that specific goal that you have, that has no other choice but to demand that you stay focused on your highest self and achieving your goals, right? Because they have no other really skin in the game other than you achieving your goals at the end of the day. Board Female also has our accountability club with other entrepreneurs who are dedicated and fiercely dedicated to their goals. So if external accountability is something that you're looking for, I really encourage you to join our accountability club, because has the most incredible women from all over the world in it that hold each other accountable every single week. So I think that's a great resource as well. Gabby, if maybe you want to throw that link in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love too that you touched on, as well as having the external accountability with people using the technology as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of people talking in here about like leaving themselves voice notes on their walks, which I think is brilliant. And being able to do whatever method is really working for you. Elizabeth, I see your digital hand up. You want to pop in and add on that?
Hi, sorry, I was
Hi.
trying to do two things at once, and I'll lower my hand now. I just wanted to add, I just had this massive epiphany about something, and it's in large part because I'm a part of this accountability group, and I noticed that Cece just asked a question that I'm literally was just purging about and writing about as you were speaking. And I want to take a minute and share this because I think it's really important. There is this unspoken layer of belief, a belief system that is put upon women in business. I'm going to just say women in business, knowing that it's a blanket statement. Of course, this could apply to men as well, but it's all women here, and so boom. That there is like everything should have happened yesterday, 5 minutes ago. It should have already happened. There's this insane time limit that we've put on ourselves, right? So I'm a big worrier. I'm a worrier, but I am also a person who takes action. And as you were saying, what you were just saying about how you have to stay in action, you have to, you whatever you just said, I can't repeat it. I'll butcher it. I'm grateful that my action self is stronger than my worrying self, because she's really loud. Worrying Elizabeth is really loud and obnoxious. But I'm grateful for that voice or that energy within me that was like, okay, I just got to keep going. I got to keep changing. In motion, I got to keep changing. And the reason I'm able to do that, what I realized, is because I'm in this accountability group. And that's something I chose to do, like my higher self chose to do. Worrying self was worrying about it, and still worries about it. But my higher self was like, you got to be a part of this, and you got to keep showing up, no matter how much worry ward is saying, nah. And the reason I'm able to, to keep going is because I've imposed on myself different accountability partners. Mm-hmm. And what I realized is if you impose this time limit on yourself, you've buried yourself in a pressure cooker. You yourself have done this, and there's no need for that. And to realize, here's the key, to realize what your strategy is, what your roadmap is to be in it, be in an accountability group, to understand that to be successful in following your strategy map, your roadmap, is that all of these self-doubts and these limiting beliefs and the worrying wart Nancy is going to show up. And you're going to meet her and you're going to go, oh, that's a self-worrying, that's a self-limiting belief. Oh, well, boom, I got to change that. Boom, I got to change that. But it's not going to happen right away. Like we've been talking about your trip to Fiji for a year, right? Last year we talked about this too. But I'm in such a different place this year because all of that self-limiting shit came up, and it's going to have to come up. It's like It's inevitable, and you're lucky if it comes up. Sorry, I know I took a minute, but
No, all good. I think, it is really, really important to think about, and I'm sure it's coming up for a lot of people too, of understanding, like I said at the beginning, right? Your limiting beliefs are not something that we decide we're getting rid of today in this moment, and then they're gone. We all know that, I think, for the most part. We have to flex the muscle, right? Oh, like my muscles that are so sore today after working out because I committed to myself that I was going to work out. So now I'm sore from it, right? It doesn't always feel good, but we have to do it in order to shed and evolve into where we really, really want to be. Only we can decide that. Okay. Alrighty. So I will move on. The summary of our discussion today is these 4 points. If you have to come back to, okay, oh my God, I'm lost again. I feel like all over the place. Come back to what is your why? Where is it that you want to go? What is your goal in detail, right? Gosh, I hope that you visualize me on the beach in my cabana. Oh, I'm sorry, in my bungalow in Fiji with my pina colada, right? What is that for you? Outline your strategy and then build your execution plan. Okay. Identify your why, visualize your destination, outline your strategy, and build your execution plan. But Priscilla, what happens when life throws me a curveball that I wasn't expecting? It wasn't in my plan. Layovers are a thing, okay? Things are going to happen that you didn't expect. That doesn't mean you still aren't chasing the goal. Your first plan, it just is not working. Everything is just not what you anticipated. You get to decide that you can analyze all of that and pivot if necessary. But understand you're on the same trajectory point. There's not one path to get to where you want to be. There's so many different journeys that you can take, but you get to decide which one you want to take because you're in control. I just don't feel connected to my goals anymore. Oh my God, you're evolving. That's incredible. You're shedding and evolving, and your goals can do the same thing. Allow them to evolve, right? But understand why they're evolving. Go back to step 1. I fall out of sync with my accountability partner. Girl, pick yourself up and get started again. Find yourself a new accountability partner, because guess what? You are your first accountability partner. You should be the one that's the most obsessed with your goals. And if you can't blame your inability to reach where you want to be because somebody else fell off, because they shouldn't be as obsessed with what you want to achieve as you are. It comes down to you at the end of the day. The only people who don't fail don't try. Ooh, I heard this the other day and it just hit me in my soul. You're gonna fail. That's the goal. The goal is to fail. The goal that I tell myself and all of my clients, fail fast, okay? Let's try to fail faster than anybody else out there in the world. Because that is when we're gonna reach things at a different speed than everybody else. Everybody is gonna fail. Failing does not mean you give up. If you give up the first time you fail, you're never going to reach your goals, okay? So do not give up just because you fail. The only people who are not failing out in the world, they're just not even trying, right? They're sitting here and they're eating bonbons on the couch. I literally had a bonbon on the couch last night. But right, I'm taking action today. I don't know if anybody's had the vegan bonbons from Trader Joe's. Mouth-watering. Cookies and cream. That's where it's at. Okay. If nothing sticks with you today, let this stick with you. The only people who don't fail don't try. All right. Any home edit fans out here? I see, I know Aaliyah, like if you're in LA and you need your home organized, Aaliyah's on this call today. And gold star for you and you and you and you, because oh my God, you made it through 59 minutes of hearing me talk. Oh my God. Just want to get a little pulse check. Everybody put how you're feeling over in the chat. Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling like you can actually accomplish your goals? Put how you're actually feeling over in the chat box, because likewise, somebody else is probably feeling the same way. Connect with each other and really know that just because you might be feeling overwhelmed right now doesn't mean that your goals still aren't worth it and that you still can't accomplish them. It just means you need to take some time to reflect internally and get some things together, right? Because maybe you've never done this before.